Hey everyone, Mr. The Fanboy here, back for another video. And this time, this is my best. This is my best of Bellator in 2015. My best and worst moments from Bellator 2015. This is pretty much a 2015 Bellator 2015 year-end review, and already I must say 2015 was an awesome year for Bellator. Bellator was so awesome. Um, Last year, you had high caliber fights from January all the way up until all the way up until all the way up until actually past December, all the way up until well into 2016. We're still in for some good stuff. But this is all the awesome stuff that happened in 2015. And um the very first show I gotta talk about is, I think it was Bellator 138. It was Ken Shamrock versus Kimbo Slice. Kimbo Slice. Of course, this show right here, not only was the feud between Slice and Shamrock awesome because it accomplished its mission. I really don't care much if the fight was fake or not, because I saw Shamrock and Kimbo Slice as a way to get casual goers or casual goers to watch Bellator. Then when they tune into Bellator, they'll see Shamrock and Kimbo Slice, but they will, like I did, they will see the young guys like the Pitbull brothers, Daniel Strauss, David Rickles, Michael Chandler, um, Brennan Ward, Alexander Slamenko, King Mo, Phil Davis, and all the young guys, and those guys right there, and were pretty much the price of admission, were worth the price of admission. But guys like Bobby Lashley, who was also one of my main reasons for tuning into Bellator, Bobby Lashley, Shamrock and Kimbo Slice. People know who these people are. So people will likewise tune in to see them. So that's why I'm not too mad if the Shamrock and Kimbo Slice fight was fake or not. It looked fake. I refuse to believe Shamrock, a well-known catch wrestler and shoot fighter, can't submit Kimbo Slice, a guy who, he's not super terrible on the ground like he was when he first entered MMA, but his ground game is not the best. His stand-up game really isn't all that to brag about either. So I don't see how Shamrock lost to Kimbo Slice, and I was pulling for Shamrock. And I really wanted him to win. It sucked to see him lose. It's good to see him still fighting. I also hope he returns to professional wrestling, but I hated seeing him lose. But that show from beginning to end, um, was awesome. Let me pull up the what's his name. Like I said, only the main event, which was Slice and Shamrock, disappointing. Every other fight was good. You had Michael Chandler defeating um Derek Campos by submission. By submission. Then you had Daniel Strauss defeating Henry Corrales by submission in round two. You had Bobby Lashley destroying Daniel Charles. A lot of people complained about this because it wasn't competitive. I didn't care about competitive. I just want to see Bobby Lashley destroy this guy and hopefully someday fight whoever the top guy is and win the heavyweight championship. Actually, I wanted Bobby Lashley to beat this guy, then rematch from, I think it was called the Super Fight League. It was an MMA promotion in India. Where Bobby Lashley and James Thompson locked up, and Bobby Lashley was robbed an event, and they were supposed to fight at this show, Bellator 138, unfinished business, but James Thompson got injured. So I wanted Bobby Lashley to defeat this guy, then defeat James Thompson. Then now, hopefully, Bobby Lashley will eventually get a shot at the heavyweight championship. Um, next is Patrice. Next is Patricio defeating Daniel Weichel in the second round with punches. So like I said, pretty much while Kimbo Slice and Sharon was the main draw, the undercard, of course, was worth the price of admission, and the biggest price of admission was the announcement made by Bellator President Scott Croker of a Dynamite show in a heavyweight tournament to crown to determine the number to determine I think the interim Bellator heavyweight champion and the number one contender for the winner of Tito Ortiz and Emmanuel Newton's fight. That right there was worth the price of admission. Not only the main event between Slice and Ken Shamrock in the undercard, but the announcement of a Bellator Dynamite show similar to the Pride days. That's what I like about Bellator. Instead of trying to be this mainstream MMA show that the UFC is trying to be. They're trying to be a legit martial arts promotion. They're trying to have a promotion that invokes the nostalgic days of the Pride FC when it comes to the over the top and just awesome fights for the fans. Awesome fights for the fans. And next, then of course Bellator 139. This was another good show. It was good to see Chet Congo defeat Alexander Volkov and David Rickles fight to a no contest. Really didn't feel like reviewing this show, but this was a good show too. This was also Hisaki Kato's debut. Then of course Bellator 141. Really didn't like Bellator 141. This is probably one of my worser moments from Bellator, and that was the signing of Melvin Gullier. Never liked Melvin Gullier. He's too cocky, but it was cool seeing Patricky Fear, the other Pitbull brother, defeating Syed Awad by unanimous decision, and of course the Bellator MMA Dynamite show. You talk about what was an awesome birthday present. This show aired September 19th, pretty much 6 days after my 26th birthday, and this right here was an awesome birthday present. I would have reviewed this show if my computer didn't get a virus and shut down. But like I said, this was an awesome show. Not only did you have a light heavyweight tournament to decide the interim champion and the number one contender to the winner of the Tito Ortiz Limagiri fight, but you also had kickboxing and MMA on one night, and you had Lene Hart, the legendary Pride FC announcer, was featured on the show doing the over the top entrances, and so many over the top entrances. I remember one guy wearing Gladiator. I remember one guy, I keep forgetting was, I think it was Phil Davis wearing Gladiator armor to the ring. It's that kind of showmanship I miss in MMA. And then and like I said, I'm gonna review some of these shows, and then of course the next worst moment. The fight was awesome. That was Daniel Strauss taking on in a rematch from a fight that happened earlier in 2015. That was Daniel Strauss taking on Patricio Pitbull. And Daniel Strauss managed to knock out Patricio after Patricio unsuccessfully tried to reverse Daniel Strauss's punches into a triangle choke. I wanted Patricio to win again, but Daniel Strauss upset Patricio to win. I keep forgetting what title they were fighting for, but it sucked to see Patricio lose. The other worst moment was earlier this year. Another fighter like Alexander Shlemenko, after destroying Melvin Gilliard, after defeating Melvin Gilliard, who I can't stand, the decision had to be overturned because Shlemenko got in trouble for performance enhancement drugs and is now suspended indefinitely. Suspended indefinitely. I hope he returns sometime this year. But like I said, man, 2015 was such an awesome year. Believe it or not, despite my ranting on MMA earlier this year, 2015 was such an awesome year to be an MMA fan. So many awesome fights from so many awesome promotions, like not only Bellator, but one championship in Japan. Um, the World Series of Fighting on NBC Sports, and and hell, even UFC, which I can't stand, was much better this year with Conor McGregor on top. I'll talk more about those promotions in another video. The last thing I want to mention, of course, at the Bellator Dynamite show, the former president of Pride, it was announced that the former president of Pride Fighting Championships was starting a new promotion similar to Pride called the Rising MMA promotion, and of course they announced the triumphant return of Fedor Emelianenko. That right there, along with the fight, the kickboxing and MMA and the tournaments and Lene Hart, that right there was also worth the price of admission or tuning into the show to and not tuning into the show. When I keep saying price of admission, there was no price. All these awesome shows this year we got to see were free. Were free. And in the Rising MMA promotion, the show really wasn't that good. The show really wasn't that good, but it was good to see a ring, a ring. And when it comes to MMA, I prefer a ring. I think the cage. First, well, I like the cage, but the problem I have with the cage is that they just fight in a cage. There's not much story around where there's a cage. In my opinion, a cage is best used in movies and professional wrestling. I believe they should use a ring more. Don't just use a cage to settle feuds. Settle feuds. In wrestling, a cage is usually the culmination of a feud, and in a movie, is usually the final challenge. Usually for a fighter, for a fighter in movies that particularly focus on cage fighting. Cage fighting. And the only thing I like about the cage, it benefits a grappler too much. It defeats stand up artists. It defeats it. It's a disadvantage towards stand up artists and stand up fighters and traditional martial artists. That's the other thing I don't like about the cage and just how it looks towards the public. You have a hard time socializing with people if you say, "Oh, I want to be a cage fighter. I want to be an MMA fighter." Oh, you mean that violent cage stuff? Then that's the last problem I have is that yes, a cage fight, and it's even when I was younger and a huge fan of MMA. When I first tuned into MMA, it wasn't as violent as I hoped it would be. I want to see someone use the cage, someone take someone and throw them into the cage, rate their face against the cage like in wrestling. They don't really I don't if you're not gonna do all that, it's not really that realistic. It's not really that much more realistic and why not use a rings or a giant stage like in martial arts films? But that's my problem. That's my problem. That's my only problem with the occasion. That's why I was happy to see the ring in Rising Back. The fights themselves really weren't all that good or even memorable. The two of the fights I want to see that was three of the fights I want to see that was Bob Sapp and Aki Bono in a shoot boxing match. This fight wasn't good. However, it was seeing Bob Sapp. It was good seeing Bob Sapp again. It was good seeing him destroy Aki Bono. But that fight was just terrible. Kazushi Sakuraba lost to Shin Aoki, who I can't stand. quickly in round one or two TKO, which I didn't like. I was good to see Kazushi Sakuraba return to MMA, but it sucks to see him lose. Especially to Shin Aoki, whom I can't stand. Um, and Fedor Emelianenko destroyed some preliminary fighter. I'm not gonna disrespect that fighter and call him a jobber, but yeah, that's So yeah, but it was just good to see these guys again. I hope Fedor fights more competition, more better and more competition. But it's good seeing like I said, Bellator. It's just been an awesome year. So many awesome fights, and um, so many awesome fights and moments. So, like I said, I hope that continues on in 2016. All right, um, Doug out.